You know, it's kind of weird and refreshing to call a Ubisoft game a masterpiece in the modern day, as I am so used to hearing nothing but bad news or seeing them release bad games that I forgot how good they once were. In fact, it feels even more weird to specifically call an Assassin's Creed game a masterpiece, considering the series' current reputation. Anyway, before this video delves into a rant about Ubisoftification, let's talk about one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever made. Now, before talking about this game's story, I do want to mention that I am playing the Ezio Collection version of the game. The reason why it's important to mention this is because in the original version of the game, there are corrupt memories which would be turned into DLCs, but in this version of the game, those DLC missions are interwoven into the main story instead of being their own separate thing. I actually didn't know this until literally right now as I'm writing this script, and these DLC missions are such a drastic drop in quality compared to the rest of the game that I thought they were only made just to pad the game's runtime out, but I'll talk more about these missions when I get to them. Assassin's Creed 2's story starts immediately after the events of AC1. After a quick recap of the first game's story, Desmond is staring at the vagina mural we looked into at the end of the first game, when Lucy Stillman comes to rescue us. It turns out she's an undercover assassin working at Abstergo. After rescuing us, we are taken to a safe house where Desmond is introduced to her team, consisting of Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane. Sean is a historian and analyst, whilst Rebecca is a technician who has made a new and improved version of the Animus. The team wants to use this new Animus to train Desmond into becoming an assassin through what's called the bleeding effect. The bleeding effect is a side effect of long-term use of the Animus, where the user will learn the skills that their ancestor has mastered at a very fast rate. This is how Desmond is able to use Eagle Vision, as he got it from Altair's skill set. Desmond is then told to relive the memories of his ancestor, the GOAT, Ezio Auditore de Firenze, during the Italian Renaissance. We are literally with Ezio from the day he is born in 1459, where we get a little tutorial on how to use our arms, legs and head. Ezio's story doesn't really start until 1476, after a conspiracy against his family is enacted, and his father Giovanni and brothers Federico and Patricio are executed for treason. Before Giovanni's death, he tells Ezio to retrieve his old assassin robes and equipment, which Ezio then goes on to use to kill Uberto Alberti, the corrupt magistrate that ordered his family's killings as revenge. After Ezio kills Alberti, he retrieves his mother Maria and sister Claudia and flee to the Auditore homestead in Monteriggioni. Once they reach there, they are greeted by Ezio's uncle Mario, who I'm almost 100% certain they named just so he could say this line.
Recognize me. It's a me, Mario!
After making this goofy Mario Bros reference, which Nintendo shockingly didn't sue Ubisoft over, Mario explains that Giovanni was murdered because he uncovered a conspiracy masterminded by the Templars. Ezio then receives some training as an assassin and uses it to pursue vengeance against the Templars who killed his family. Most of these Templars you kill are actually from noble families that were in power at the time in Italy, such as the Pazzi and Barbarigo's families. Ezio even makes allies with some other real-life historical figures such as Leonardo da Vinci and Lorenzo de' Medici, whose family were rivals with the Pazzi in real life, and Caterina Sforza, the Countess of Forli. In fact, in real life, there was a coup against the Medici family being organised by the Pazzi family that is used in this game as a plot point. Anyway, Ezio would eventually uncover that the identity of the Templar Grandmaster who organised the killings of his family is a man named Rodrigo Borgia, who both in-game and real life would become Pope Alexander VI. Rodrigo plotted to secure power over Italy using the Apple of Eden from the first game. In 1488, Ezio is able to get his hands on the apple and confronts Rodrigo, who tells him that he wants to unlock something called the Vault, which apparently holds godlike powers within. Rodrigo almost kills Ezio, but thanks to the help of Mario and other assassins, Rodrigo is forced to flee. The other assassins think that Ezio is the prophet who is destined to open the Vault and decide to formally induct him into the Assassin Brotherhood. And by the way, these other characters don't just show up out of nowhere, they are familiar to Ezio, and all of them except for Machiavelli help him seek out his revenge at one point or another throughout the story. I just glossed over those parts because I don't want this video to be over an hour long. Around this time, Desmond is taken out of the Animus to see whether the bleeding effect is working, and whilst it does work in the sense that he has all of the skills that Ezio has learned, he also experiences the negative side effects of brief hallucinations. He does experience a full memory of Altair without the use of the Animus, where it is revealed that Altair had a child with the Lady Knight Templar from the first game. Going back to Ezio's story, here is where the DLC levels canonically take place, and because I'm playing the Ezio collection, I was forced to play them to continue the main story. However, due to how they are structured and some of the complaints I have with them, I'm going to skip over them for now and come back to them later. In 1499, after discovering the vault is located underneath the Papal Palace, Ezio sneaks his way into the Vatican City and fights Rodrigo. It turns out that Rodrigo is in possession of a different piece of Eden, that being the Papal Staff. Ezio and Rodrigo fight, both sides using their respective piece of Eden until Rodrigo is finally defeated. Ezio decides to spare his life for some reason and uses the staff and the apple to open the vault. Upon entering the vault, Ezio encounters a hologram of Minerva, who is part of an ancient race of beings called the Isu that predate the existence of humans. Minerva is aware that Desmond is listening through the Animus and directly explains to him that her people created humanity to serve them, but a catastrophe would nearly wipe out both civilizations. The survivors of this catastrophe would band together to make these vaults to preserve their technology and prevent another catastrophe from occurring. Before leaving, she tells Desmond only he has the power to fulfill the prophecy, leaving both Desmond and probably even more so Ezio very confused. In the present day, Desmond is pulled out of the Animus as Abstergo has discovered their hideout's location and Warren Vidic has led an assault on the hideout. On their way to a new location, Lucy informs Desmond that other assassins have detected strange occurrences in the Earth's magnetic field and that a solar flare is scheduled to occur in a few months, which could lead to the world-ending event that Minerva warned us about. Before giving my final thoughts on the base game story, there is actually a piece of side content that is important to the story I wanted to talk about here. Throughout the game, you can find these glyphs that were actually left by a previous Abstergo test subject known as Subject 16. These bits of code can be scanned when using Eagle Vision on them, which causes you to play a little mini-game to unlock a code to a video file. These mini-games are a complete tonal shift compared to the rest of the game, being very creepy and eerie. These mini-games actually show you that a lot of the world's most powerful and famous figures gain their power due to having a piece of Eden in their possession at one time or another. And we are talking about everyone from Jesus Christ to Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, sorry, Bonaparte. I meant Bonaparte. All of these video files unlock a video called The Truth, and I'll just let you see what happens when you collect all these.
Oh, the moon. I can see the stars. My mind is gone. Lucy, I can't wait any longer. I'm ready to go. She sees me raise the knife.
Adam, I have it.
Eve,
Look out! Wow.
was that what I think it was?
We'll send the video out for analysis as soon as Desmond's done in the machine.
You okay?
He'd be able to explain the whole thing to us. If only we could ask him.
When I first ever played AC2, I remember shitting myself with excitement and wonder at both the ending and the truth video. This type of sci-fi shit brings a white tear to my leg. AC2's story is fucking phenomenal and in my opinion is an improvement in every way compared to AC1. The only issue I have with it being that Ezio losing his desire for revenge and not killing Rodrigo kind of comes out of nowhere. However, I unfortunately can't really give the DLCs the same praise as the base game. The first DLC is called the Battle of Forli. Going back in time to 1488, shortly after recovering the apple from Rodrigo, Ezio meets with Leonardo, Mario, and Machiavelli to discuss on the best way to keep the apple safe and hidden. They all decide the best course of action is to leave it with Caterina Sforza in Forli. Upon arriving there, it is discovered that the Borgia are performing an assault on the city led by the Orsi twins. The Orsi twins aren't here for the apple, however, they are actually here to retrieve a map of the codex pages that lead to the location of the vault. Most of your missions consist of fending off the assault by the twins and rescuing Caterina's kidnapped children. Whilst going to save her children, he leaves the apple with Caterina, but while he's gone, the twins manage to steal the apple from her. You eventually kill the twin that stole the apple, but he does stab Ezio, causing him to collapse. Just before Ezio passes out in pain, a monk in a black robe steals the apple from him. After Ezio is nursed back to health by Caterina, he sets out to find the man that stole the apple from him, but in his investigation he finds out where the thief might be and sets out to find him, leading into the story of the second DLC. The second DLC, being called the Bonfire of the Vanities, takes place in 1497. Ezio tracks the thief down to Florence, where he has used the apple to take control of the city's officials and rules the city as a tyrant. Ezio and Machiavelli devise a plan to kill all 9 of the thief's new lieutenants to draw him out of hiding and give the people the courage to rebel. These 9 missions are the most absolute bullshit, rage-inducing missions of the entire game, with a lot of them being forced stealth, which I absolutely loved, by the way. Whatever fucking... I'm killing him!
My knife is in the back of the cunt's head that made me fucking end the level.
Do you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That's my fucking ranting music. You kill all these really boring cunts, then kill the boring main cunt. Ezio gives a pretty good speech, and that's the end of the DLCs. Hooray. The only good thing about these DLCs is that you get to see more of Caterina and Machiavelli, who are pretty cool characters and don't have much screen time in the base game. Other than that, the story here is pretty fucking boring. Because I'm playing the Ezio collection and was forced to play these to progress the main story, I genuinely thought these levels were just padding to extend the game's runtime because of how many blatant plot holes and horrible mission design choices there are. Like, these 4 stealth missions are absolute dog shit, especially this one with the cunt defending Hay. Like, why the fuck am I killing a cunt whose job it is to defend Hay? Why does he have so many guards to defend fucking Hay? This level's called Hitting the Hay? Well, I'm about to hit my fucking head against the pavement in a minute. Why are there so many lieutenants with 4 stealth missions? Also, if the Olsen twins were trying to get a map that shows where the vault is, and they failed, how does Rodrigo know where it is in the base game? Like, it doesn't really make sense. Also, if you were to play the original AC2 and did the DLCs after beating the base game, you know that in 1499, Ezio has the apple, meaning you'd already know how the DLC story ends, making the entire thing absolutely pointless with no stakes whatsoever. Anyway, let's talk about the gameplay, and holy shit, AC2 just improves upon everything AC1 did by a mile. Parkour is way more fluid, and I actually felt like my actions were flowing nicely together and doing so for an extended amount of time. Unlike in AC1 where parkour was way slower, a little bit clunky, and sections where it felt free-flowing were few and far between. One thing I did notice is that instead of just straight up fixing the worst parts of AC1's parkour, they actually added new gameplay mechanics to fix them. For example, one of the main issues I had with AC1 is that quite often you would get stuck climbing because Altair just would refuse to reach for a ledge that was clearly within reach. In AC2 this does still happen, but they added a new hanging jump mechanic that you learn about a quarter of the way through the game that not only mitigates this issue, but also allows you to reach ledges that were even further out of Ezio's reach. This not only fixes the issue, but allows for even more fluid climbing. Another nice new addition they added is that you can now hold down the right trigger when climbing to climb faster. Now this doesn't work all the time, but when it does, you climb almost twice as fast as Altair could. And having to hold the right trigger down to do this still gives you the option to climb slowly if it is more advantageous to you in more stealthier levels. Speaking of stealth, as mentioned earlier, the 4 stealth missions in this game are absolute bullshit. I don't like these in any game to be fair, but these ones really piss me off. However, when a level isn't for stealth and gives you the option to do so, it can be quite fun to sneak around, and if I get caught I can just fight my way out. On the subject of combat, it has been reworked for the better since AC1. Now AC1 definitely didn't have the worst combat I've seen in a game, but it was a little bit clunky and had a heavy reliance on waiting for enemies to attack you so you could counter kill them. In AC2, however, you can still do this with certain enemies, but there are now new types of enemies that are able to avoid or block against counter kills, meaning you will have to use a multitude of different strategies to win in combat now. You would think that the addition of these new enemies and mechanics would make the game harder than My Little Alien in a strip club. However, I actually thought that combat was a hell of a lot easier than AC1, mainly due to this game's enemies very patiently waiting to attack you one at a time. Whilst it was pretty mind-numbingly easy on a mechanical level, it is very flashy. The animations in AC1 were quite amazing in how smooth they were, and here they didn't disappoint either. On top of upgrades to the combat system, side content is definitely a big improvement from the first game. Whilst I definitely wouldn't say the side content is anything amazing outside of 1 or 2 standouts, it is definitely an improvement. Other than the aforementioned The Truth piece of side content, you can actually upgrade the Auditory Villa and the town it resides in for bonuses such as discounts in the local stores or adding value to the town that goes directly to your pocket. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. There's an actual money system in this game that you can use to upgrade your armor and weapons, or to buy paintings to increase the value of the villa. Speaking of armor, there are also these 6 assassin tombs you can complete, and once completed you actually get Altair's armor, which is the best in the game and makes the combat even easier. And yeah, to be honest, my only real complaint about AC2's gameplay is the map is super laggy for some reason, which is especially weird considering how smooth it was in AC1. Everything else I found to be an exceptional improvement over the first game. Overall, Assassin's Creed 2 is a phenomenal improvement over its predecessor and would really be the true beginnings of the whole Ubisoft open world format, and is just a reminder at how good Ubisoft used to be with their storytelling. This game is amazing and definitely worth a playthrough. However, I would definitely recommend avoiding the DLCs if possible. Those missions were fucking awful. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm getting close to 100 subs now, so I'm gonna have to think of something for a 100 sub special soon. Bye.
But you don't let him escape!
Why is there a guard on the beginning of the level? He's not going to come to this bale of hay. I've chosen the wrong bale of hay, I bet. He goes near every single bale of hay except this one, I bet. Watch. That's the bullshit this game fucking pulls. Spawns you near a good bale of hay, which he's protecting, and he's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm not patrolling. See, look, I'm not in this patrol very well, looks of it. And it's 3 million fucking guards here, so you'd think this would be the smart move to do, but no. I've just fucking myself in the arse yet again. For stealth again! These levels are just fucking annoying! Whatever fucking... I'm killing him! My knife is in the back of the cunt's head that made me fucking end the level! Hey, get down now! Fuck you, you fucking little cock-smoking cunt! Oh cool, this guy's all of a sudden seen me. Oh, I'm gonna kill him and get FIRE WITH THAT GUN! What is the point of these levels? Who designed these? Who fucking designed these fucking bullshit levels? Oh, it'd be cool if we ended the game of killing 9 boring cunts. Like the fucking first game, the entirety of the first game was about killing 9 boring cunts. Let's make the last level about killing 9 boring cunts, except this time, let's make it the most infuriating fucking levels ever known to man! Fucking piece of shit. Fucking full stealth, fucking piece of shit fucking levels.
Die! time.